What's going on YouTube? This is Reezon back once again, and I'm doing a quick video on really it's a discussion on one of my favorite movies, and it's a horror slash action movie, and I feel like having a discussion of it. I've had this discussion for years since the movie came out with fans and critics and everybody, and that movie is Freddy versus Jason, and the discussion is on who won. All right, now the popular there's two popular views to this movie, to the end of this movie, from the majority or the masses that have watched the movie. Neither one really right, but I'll just go ahead through the both views. First view is that no one really won, and they both just tied, and they're both still alive and what have you. All right. The second view is that Jason won because Jason came out of the lake at the end with Freddy's head in his hand. Both of them are wrong. The first one is a little bit more right. They both are still alive, but I can't say that it was a tie because of the following reasons. Now, obviously, I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street fan. That's first and foremost. I want to get that out there. I don't want to hide that from anybody, but I'm not being biased when I say this. I'm just going by facts, and just how you would judge a fight between any two combatants and how you would determine a winner. Okay, now first and foremost, we gotta acknowledge the fact that neither one died. Okay, that's first and foremost. Neither one died. Jason did come out of the lake at the end of the movie holding Freddy's head, but Freddy's head winked at the camera and laughed. So obviously he's alive and he's laughing, so he's not in pain, and he's not dead. So both of them are alive, and that's first and foremost. Since none of them are dead or none of them are quote unquote knocked out, the very next criteria to judge the winner of a fight is who caused the most damage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and this is just common sense. Go back to when you were in elementary school or middle school, and you got in a fight, or there was two kids in a fight in the schoolyard after class. Obviously, none of them died because it was just a little fist fight between two kids. So how did you judge who won? Well, you judged who won by how messed up the other one was. If one of them was really messed up and the other one wasn't as messed up, well, the one that wasn't as messed up was the winner. You judge the winner on who caused the most damage to his opponent. If you watch this movie, especially as much as I have, I've watched this movie in and out, inside out, all over the place. There is no way that you can stand there and tell me that Jason caused more damage to Freddy than Freddy caused to Jason. Freddy whooped Jason's behind all over this movie, man. I mean, I can count on one hand the number of times, and I believe it's 3 to 4 times only, that Jason really landed a solid hit on Freddy. And of course, every time he landed a hit, yes, Freddy went flying. Yes, Freddy's a weakling, this and that. Okay, fine. Yeah, Freddy's like 5'7", Jason's like 6 foot something. There shouldn't even be a fight, but Freddy's that gangster. All right. Every time that Jason hit Freddy, Freddy went flying, but Freddy got back up, and the fight kept going. Now, like I said, I can count on one hand 3 to 4 times the amount of times that Jason landed a clean hit on Freddy. I need like 6 hands to count the amount of times Freddy hit Jason. I mean, in the dream sequence alone, Freddy pinballed Jason's behind all over the boiler room. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even have to use his hands. He had Jason flying all over the place. Now you come to the real world, where you would expect Jason to have the advantage, and indeed he does. That's where he does his thing. Freddy still kicked Jason's behind in the real world. I mean, you had everything from the fight inside the cabin where it first started. Jason swinging with the machete, missing. Freddy elbows him in the back of the head. Jason swings again. He misses. Freddy kicks him in the nuts. All right, now Jason picks up Freddy, throws him out, grabs him, which was I think one of the only raw moves that Jason had the whole movie. He picked Freddy up, threw him through the window, and then just basically dragged him through the entire structure of the wall of the cabin, just breaking every frame, every board. That was awesome. Then he threw Freddy into the next cabin, and then being the dumb retard that he is, he's standing there, and the entire cabin falls down on him anyways. After that, Jason kills Kelly Rowland, and the fight continues outside. Bro, Freddy kicks the crap out of Jason, man. He stabs him I don't know how many times, ninja kicks him, elbow drops him, sends propane tanks like missiles that hit Jason, stands on top of the scaffolding and drops a bunch of javelins, iron rods that stab and pin Jason to the floor, uses a giant swinging cement mixer, to just continue to knock into Jason. Jason's coughing and spitting up blood before Freddy even had a scratch on him. Then after that, they end up fighting on the dock. On the dock, Jason gets a couple of good hits with the machete. And when I said before, I can count the number of times on my hand that Jason hit Freddy clean. I was talking about before the sequence. I was talking about before the last stretch of the fight. I was just talking about in general throughout the whole movie. Jason only hit Freddy 3 or 4 times. Now, when you get to the dock, Jason had a nice, I think it was like 4 or 5 hits. Six. It was like 6 hits that I counted where he hit Freddy with the machete. All right. Then Freddy cut off his fingers, took his own machete, and 13 times hacked Jason with the machete and the claw. Had Jason on the ground. Now, to me, this is where the fight was over. Because, again, I'm not counting human interference from the teenagers helping Jason out. I'm talking about no one-on-one. Freddy turns Jason over, and to me, this is where the fight was over. 2 claws right in the eyes. Blood gushing out, Jason's twitching, and then in the chest. The fight is over, me right there. Then he picks him up and he's gonna decapitate him with his own machete. Jason blocks and they're like struggling there. And then that's when the girl comes and Freddy, go to hell. And then Jason, rips off Freddy's arm and Freddy stabs Jason with his own machete through the heart and they basically annihilate each other. Then when the whole explosion happens and everything, the one that comes out of the water with Jason's machete is Freddy, missing an arm and everything. And he would have killed this stupid girl if Jason didn't come out of the water and stab him with his own claw. But if you notice, Jason went in there, stabbed him with his own claw, and fell down back in the water. He was done. Alright, Freddy was still alive and needed the girl to cut off his head to die. Or, quote unquote die, because none of these two ever die. Alright, so my point is, if you watch this movie from beginning to end, from the very first time they encounter each other, which is the scene in the psychiatric ward where the kids are all rushing to get the hypnosil, and then Friedberg gets chopped in half because Freddy possessed him to stab Jason with the tranquilizers. And then the dream sequences. From the dream world, Freddy kicked Jason's behind all over the place. Then they end up in the real world where you expect the opposite to happen. And no, Freddy still is dominant in the real world. Yes, Jason hit him a good few times to send Freddy flying because Freddy, stature-wise, is a pipsqueak next to Jason. But Freddy still just karate-sized Jason's behind, man. He was ninja kicking him, elbow dropping him. I don't know how many times he stabbed Jason. Let me ask you one thing. With Jason's primary weapon, the machete, how many times did that machete actually slice or penetrate Freddy in the entire movie? Once, in the dream world where he cut off his arms and Freddy's arms grew back. And he laughed at him and told him, "You're weak." Then, after that, the only other time the machete penetrated Freddy was when the girl used it to cut off his head. How many times did Freddy's claws mark up Jason? The entire movie. He even left his claw marks on his mask. Alright, so I get tired of having a discussion with fans or so-called critics talking about Jason 1. The real ending of the movie is they're both still alive, but Freddy has the advantage. Nobody really won. But Freddy ends up in the driver's seat because Jason comes out of the lake holding Freddy's head. Now, whoever is watching this movie and can't tell that last scene is a dream sequence with all the fog on a perfectly sunny day is a retard. That's a dream sequence, and the reason you can tell is because Freddy's severed head, which in the real world was dead in the water after the girl cut it off, is now winking at the camera and laughing. Because Jason is carrying that head to the little cabin that Freddy saw in his mind when he was in his mind that he dreams about, was taking that head to the cabin as his newest trophy, and Freddy's head winks at the viewer and laughs to let him know, I got this puppet right back where I want him. We are right back to where the movie was when it started. Freddy in control, puppeteering Jason in his mind, in his dreams, commanding him. Here he is again, same thing. Jason thinks he won, he's walking out of a lake with the head, and Freddy's the one pulling the strings. Alright, so if you want the real ending to Freddy versus Jason, it's both are alive, Freddy's in charge. And if you want the original ending, go to the DVD and go to the special features, and it's not an alternate ending, it's called original ending. This is the ending they really wanted, but they didn't want to disappoint fans, was Freddy winning, because 4 months after the fight, Will and Laurie are about to have sex, and Will, it's a dream obviously, and Will turns into Freddy and is about to kill Laurie. Where's Jason in that ending? He's not there, and that was called the original ending. So check it out. I just wanted to have this discussion with the fans. Leave your comments. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of comments from Jason fans saying, "Oh, you're a retard, Jason won." Hey, facts are facts, bro. Watch the movie. Jason got his butt handed to him. Yes, he's a tank, and yes, he survived because you can't kill him. But since none of them died, you judge by who did the most damage, and Freddy beat the crap out of Jason. Just like a boxing match. Who landed the most points? That would be Freddy. All right, check it out. Remember Nightmare on Elm Street? New trailer is out now. Take it easy, y'all.